Sometimes when you set out to make a video and you get everything lined up, you got a plan, and then you try to execute that plan and it just doesn't go well. Well, this was one of those times. Now, in the last update video on antique muzzleloading propellant, I wanted to do two things. I wanted to make a control batch, so the same way we used to do it, in the old rubber jar with lead media and turn it for 10 or 12 hours. And then I wanted to make a new batch with the PVC jar and the ceramic media, but I was going to turn it for much longer. And so that's what I did. Now, the reason why I wanted to make a control batch is because I've made several control batches. I've made several pounds of powder that way, and it performs the same. It always runs right about 1750 to 1770, depending, and I've chronoed it several times on several different occasions. In my Kibler with 50 grains, 440 round ball, and a 20 thousandths patch. Always runs between 1750 and 1775 or 1780. I know there are a lot of people in the last video that left me comments saying, well, yeah, but the ambient humidity and the temperature and the elevation and all that stuff can make a difference. Yes, it can, but not 250 feet per second worth of difference. So I wanted to make a control batch, again, which I've done I don't know how many times, just to have something to compare it to. I didn't have any more because I'd used it all. And here's how that went. All right, so this is the control batch, the old way, lead media, rubber jar, slow turn in, the whole deal. $16.57.
That's
All right, shot number 2, the original stuff.
There we go.
16.65.
Yeah, all right, that's GoX. That's GoX speed.
All right, Derek, shot number 3 with the original stuff.
Nice smack.
Want to run patch down it?
Yeah. What's that, 1619?
16.18.
I got patch. I got a wet
All right.
one. Okay.
Let me take some pictures of that stuff. Wait, it should be
faster.
1750s.
Should be faster. We got to go back through our papers and find out
I wish you would.
what our average.
I know what the average is.
Well, what's the average for our homemade alder buckthorn through the?
1765.
Is it really?
Yes, and it is just as filthy and horrible as it always is.
Dadgummit.
So there's 2 patches, just as filthy as usual.
Yeah, dirty.
But interestingly enough, it's still a little slower. So, okay. Now, I think I can explain what the hell happened here, and it simply boils down to me being in a hurry. Now, I milled that batch for, I believe it was 8 hours. And I've said in other videos that when you open up your jar and you look in there and all you see is media, you don't see any powder because it's all at the bottom, you know it's done. Well, I could still see a little bit down there. It was down there, but I could still see a little bit. And my brother was standing right next to me and he says, I would run that stuff for another hour or so. And I said, nah, it'll be fine. And I think I just didn't mill it quite long enough because there's no reason why it should be that slow. Again, it still should perform like all the other batches I've made, mid-1700s. So I think I just didn't mill it quite long enough. Now, this really throws a wrench into the scientificness of all of this because your control batch is, well, fine. So let's just throw that out. We'll put that aside for a minute because, again, I've made I don't know how many batches of that same powder, and it always performs right in the mid-1700s. So with that being said, let's just forget all about that. Now, let me show you the other batch. Now, this stuff is the same, 771310 Alder Buckthorn, 50 grains, 20 thousandths patch, 440 round ball, just like all the other tests. This is in the new PVC jar, turning at 80 RPM, and with the ceramic media, and this stuff milled for 21 hours. Okay, so this is the first shot with the ceramic media turned for 21 hours.
At 100 RPM.
80.
Or double speed, basically. Good.
1700.
There we go.
That ain't nothing to sneeze
Yeah.
at.
All right, shot number 2 with the ceramic stuff turned at 21 hours.
Hard smack.
1661.
Not as high as I thought it would be.
Number 3.
Blarney Stone.
There we go.
That sounded fast.
1732.
Okay, that's up there.
Yeah, man. Significantly cleaner, Derek.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. This is one patch versus the other ones.
Oh, let me see. Oh,
Man.
wow. Oh, man.
Now that was pretty bitchin'. Why was it bitchin'? Well, that averaged, I believe, 1,697 feet per second. So forgive me, but I'm going to round up to 1,700 because it's just barely there. It's there. It's close enough for me. So for the first time, we have powder that is cleaner than GoEx, not as clean as Swiss, but certainly leaps and bounds cleaner than any of the other stuff that I've made with lead media. And it's in the 1700s. It actually beats GoEx and shoots in both in velocity. Not up there with Swiss yet, but we're getting there. And so both of those things are a big deal. So, what now? Well, I think this is a pretty good lesson in mill efficiency and media efficiency. Clearly, the ceramic media is not nearly as efficient as lead. Problem with lead is you get lead contaminant in your powder, and that's what makes it so dirty, or at least that's what makes mine so dirty. Now, what I would really like to do is be able to mill a clean batch that gets in the 1700s in about half the time, because again, that batch took 21 hours to mill. Now, what I would like to do is build a real ball mill. And I've seen some guys do this. The 11 Bang Bang guys have done it. You guys beat me to it. I'm a little jealous. But what they did is they took an old treadmill and they cut it up into pieces and they shortened it and they made a ball mill out of that. And that looks like a pretty good idea. You have much more control over the amount of time and the speed. Because what I'm thinking is even with the ceramic media, let's say right now my other cheesy mill turns at 80 RPM, and let's just say it takes 20 hours. Well, if you double the RPM to 160 RPM, could we mill a batch in 10 hours? Can we cut the time in half? So that's what we're going to try. Another thing I'd like to try too is changing the media to brass. I've heard a lot of guys give me comments about trying brass. They take brass rod and they cut it up into pieces and they use that. So that's the next thing we're going to try, the ball mill and maybe changing the media. But again, this is a big step in the right direction. So that's about it. So as usual, folks, if you thought this video didn't suck, do me a favor and hit the like button and consider subscribing. And if you did think it sucked, well, then go make your own damn video.